These PC gaming socialists never learn, do they? They just never fucking learn. That's okay though. That's alright, because the more they act stupid, the more of that great exposure's cooking they gon' get. Not mama's cooking now, mind you. I'm gonna leave that for Kwame Brown. Shout out to him for taking the internet by storm by cutting fire promos on people. Honestly, my mom was kind of a mediocre cook to begin with, but I digress. Nah, my cooking, as we've seen time and time again for the last 8 years, obliterates people. I wouldn't even call it cooking. I just call it straight up incineration, where all that remains are ashes. But yeah, so I'm at work minding my own business, doing what I gotta do to get my paper, when I get a YouTube Studio notification about a comment left on my re-upload of the retarded exclusives are anti-consumer argument video. I didn't get to fully see and respond to it till my hour-long lunch break, and lo and behold, it was yet another PC gaming socialist, spouting the same tired and long-debunked rhetoric they always spew. Like, real talk, can you PC gaming socialists please get some new and actually logical talking points? Y'all have been spouting the same exact idiotic bullshit arguments since 2018, possibly even earlier, even though they've all been long destroyed. Like, for real, your gun is empty, PC gaming socialists. You've long run out of ammo, yet you're still pulling the trigger of that gun thinking that you're doing something. The delusions have reached peak mental illness at this point. So which one of the many tired and stupid arguments did he decide to proffer exactly? The old exclusives are anti-consumer because they force people to buy a separate gaming platform if they want to play those exclusive games bullshit. You see my response is clear as day, and I had to make 3 separate responses because YouTube's broken and busted ass wouldn't let me post one long response. But the one I want you to pay the closest attention to is the middle one, which I'll repeat now. Ain't nobody forcing you clowns to buy a goddamn thing. They're video games, which are a luxury and not a bare necessity. You needing to have every single game that comes out to be on your preferred platform of choice is a you problem. And nobody is under any sort of obligation to cater to your entitled wants and desires because the world doesn't fucking revolve around you. Like, it's pretty cut and dry, and I don't know how anybody who isn't a complete delusional and entitled moron can really argue this. Not that this simpleton didn't try. You're a fucking idiot. Wrong your dip to the shit. The way you wrote that sounds like I'm in possession of one single fucking idiot. What you meant is you are, which is YOU''RE. Not exactly a good look questioning somebody's intelligence when you can't even type/spell correctly. But hey, that's par for the course with you pseudo-intellectual idiots at this point. Would you call a PlayStation gamer who wants to play Gears, Halo, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, and Forza entitled? Oh yes, the fuck I would! You better believe and bet your ass I would, because unlike you PC gaming socialist slob knockers, I keep the same energy and don't discriminate. The thing is, outside of hardcore ponies like, say, JTech and maybe Jackmove, you're likely not going to see any of the ponies cry about not being able to play other platforms' exclusives because exclusives are the bread and butter of the PlayStation brand, so they should know better than to say dumb shit like that. But sweet Chinese raptor Jesus let me catch a pony bitching about it being anti-consumer that they can't play other platforms' exclusives. I put my foot on their throat so ferociously that they'll wish that they were being force-choked by Darth Vader instead. Then he wanted to spout some nonsense about wanting to give game developers his money under the condition that they put their games on all platforms. I really don't need to say anything. That speaks for itself. But I replied to that if you want to read it on the screen right now. We all know he's full of shit and just wants it to be on his platform of choice, which given the stupid bullshit he says, is likely the PC. And then spouts yet another long debunked argument about multiplats making more money than exclusives. I'll just go ahead and roll this footage right quick. But one PC gaming socialist argument I wanted to address is that they always say that games that are exclusive to one platform supposedly limit sales when compared to games that are multiplats. A mere 5-minute Google search will tell you that this argument is bullshit cubed. Yes, the super big name multiplats that appeal to the casuals and even non-gamers will outsell exclusives. You know, your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, sports games like Madden, your Destinies to a lesser extent. You get the idea. However, there are plenty of cases where exclusive games outsell multiplats. And I've got numbers to prove it. I mean, Super Mario Odyssey, Switch exclusive, sold nearly 16 million copies worldwide. God of War, PS4 exclusive, over 10 million worldwide. Spider-Man, PS4 exclusive, over 13 million worldwide. Now let's look at some multiplats.
Horizon sold 10 million too.
Let's look at some multiplats. Resident Evil 7, latest critically acclaimed, chronologically numbered game in a long-running and celebrated franchise. Take a wild guess how many units it sold.
I don't know.
Just under 7 million worldwide on all platforms combined. Cuphead just recently passed the 5 million mark worldwide on 3 separate platforms. Far Cry 5, it might be a slightly bad example, seeing as how the only real revered game in the series is Far Cry 3, but I've seen articles where Far Cry 5 was said to be one of Ubisoft's fastest selling games, yet it only sold a little over 5 million worldwide on 3 separate platforms. I mean, moral of the story is that being multi-platform doesn't guarantee you shit in sales. So, yeah, that's another PC gaming socialist argument that's been effectively destroyed. Now we're about to get juicy, because this is where he fucks up royally and where I got his ass. You're fucking idiot. My fucking idiot? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have a fucking idiot. I'm currently not in possession of any fucking idiots, let alone one lone, singular fucking idiot. Seriously, not only did you still use the wrong your, you didn't even accomplish the simple task of putting in the indefinite article of a. Like, real talk, either your English and grammar teacher needs the cowboy shit slapped out of them for being terrible at their job, or you do for not paying attention in their class. Who the fuck are you to be calling anybody an idiot, boy? At least I can spell and type properly. You sure as hell can't, yet I'm expected to take your bitching about exclusives seriously? Fuck out of here. Oh, but it gets better. He then claims to own not one, but 2 separate consoles. Tell you what, we'll come back to that because that's where he made the fatal error. He then goes on to fucking insist that gamers are being forced to buy other platforms to play exclusives. Yeah, okay. Apparently we got motherfuckers being held hostage, having guns pointed at their heads, and being made to buy separate consoles they don't want. Your entitled wants and desires not being catered to isn't a valid metric of force, you slobbering mongoloid. And in looking at the screen caps, I just now noticed this bit that I didn't even respond to because I was so fixated on that 2 consoles thing. This Chrome mag asked me why I was defending Sony. What the fuck would give your dumbass the idea that I was defending Sony? Please show me where I said anything in direct defense of Sony. I mean, I've included the screen caps of the entire conversation thus far, so y'all at home can go ahead and rewind. Go ahead, I'll wait. Y'all watching at home find anything? Yeah, didn't think so. In fact, as I'm sure you probably saw, the only time I even remotely mentioned Sony was when I responded to the prospect of calling PlayStation fanboys entitled for not being able to play Microsoft's first-party titles. And notice I didn't say exclusives because those games are also on PC. I never defended Sony, you sloped-headed Neanderthal. I defended the concept of exclusivity. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but PlayStation isn't the only platform that has exclusives. The Nintendo Switch also has exclusives. And even the fucking PC also has exclusives. And both of those platforms deserve to have them. Hell, the Microsoft Xbox deserves to have exclusives whenever Phil Spencer gets his head out of his ass and realizes he's running a video game business rather than a multimedia streaming service business. Anyways, then this clown goes on to list all his grievances with the PlayStation brand, as if they have any fucking relevance to the topic at hand, which is the validity of exclusivity, because once again, Sony ain't the only company that has exclusives. And then only a mere hour later, when I didn't respond, he comments again asking how I respond to his list of meaningless, irrelevant grievances towards Sony. Basically indirectly saying, why haven't you responded yet? What you got to say to that, huh? Huh? Where you at? You quiet now. Where's your response? You want to know why it took me so long to respond to your dumbass? The reason has a title. You want to know what it's called? It's called a fucking job, you dick licker. I wouldn't expect somebody who whines and moans about having to buy multiple gaming platforms in order to have access to every game on the market to know anything about that. Or hell, maybe you do, seeing as how you said you own not one, but two separate consoles. And speaking of which, let's get back to this two consoles thing. So, here we have somebody that's complaining about how anti-consumer exclusives are in the typical clockwork PC gaming socialist way, using the supposed need to buy extra gaming platforms he doesn't want or need as the stupid talking point. Yet when I call him out on his textbook PC gaming socialism, he tries to flip the script by saying he owns two consoles. So we have somebody who has no problem buying multiple platforms, complaining about exclusives forcing people to buy multiple platforms? Excuse me?
Nigga, what?
Yeah, I can't make sense of that either. The hilarious part is that this jester really thought he did something by revealing that information. He thought he served me up a nice big old platter of gotcha, bitch. No. Sorry to say, but that ended up having the exact opposite effect. So now, as you can see on the screen, that begs the question. Is he lying and capping about owning multiple consoles and is just another typical PC gaming socialist? Or is he a hypocrite that is contributing to the very thing he's whining about by buying multiple consoles? I told him that he has to pick a route of exposure and accountability and that failure to do so would result in getting blocked. And of course, just like I thought he would, he completely sidestepped that question and tried to challenge me to a debate over Discord. No. First of all, what was the last command that I gave you? I told you to either pick a door of exposure or get blocked. You clearly chose the latter, so anything you had to say after that point was meaningless. Second, that's not how this works. We were debating, you made a fatal logic error and put yourself into a corner, and I caught you slipping and capitalized. You already done got exposed and destroyed via text, and all that was left to establish was which option of exposure meal you wanted to munch on. But since you couldn't follow simple instructions by choosing which method of exposure you wanted and ignored the question entirely, what the fuck am I to expect you to do in a Discord debate? Huh? More sidestepping and shitty comprehension, probably. Third, we've already established that you're working on a defective premise to begin with. not only are you spouting the same destroyed dumbass arguments that PC gaming socialists have been making over and over again for years now, but you're doing so under the false pretense that I was somehow defending Sony or am some kind of Sony fanboy. And you think you have any type of ground to stand on to debate me over Discord? I already clobbered and pulverized your ass so effortlessly just with text alone. So what the fuck do you expect to accomplish over Discord? The PC gaming socialist delusion is real, people. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt by giving him the credit of not being such a stupid, no self-awareness having idiot for buying multiple consoles, and just go off of the assumption that he's simply a lying, typical PC gaming socialist. I could be wrong, and maybe he is that dumb to be bitching about issues that he directly contributes to. But seeing as how he looks, walks, and quacks like a PC gaming socialist, we'll just go ahead and give him that label for the time being. But as I was saying, the PC gaming socialist delusion is very real. You know the saying that accountability is a woman's kryptonite? Well, facts and reality is a PC gaming socialist's kryptonite. In fact, these PC gaming socialists are a lot like these modern delusional women out here. Both have these ridiculous standards of expecting to have everything while bringing nothing of value and substance to the table. Huh, interesting. Go figure. Just as a bonus, let's take a look at one more clown who also popped up in the comments of that same video. This poster boy for prophylactics first accuses me of being an AVGN ripoff. Huh. That's weird. I don't remember making any industrial strength cringe sketch comedy videos pretending to be retro game reviews. But hey, don't let a little thing like retardation stop you from making nonsensical comparisons. Then he wanted to use yet another debunked argument of nobody likes exclusives because having multiple platforms is expensive. Motherfucker, I was able to afford all the consoles that were on the market in 2017 and a gaming PC and a regular desktop PC all on a $12 an hour job, while taking care of my living expenses. So miss me with that bullshit. And now I've got an even more high-paying job, so I can probably afford all the platforms out right now, too. Whenever I hear any of these PC gaming socialists talk about how expensive it is to own all of the gaming platforms or anything in regards to the funding element of engaging in this hobby, what they're indirectly admitting is that they're a bunch of broke dick bitches who don't have the drive or any sort of wherewithal whatsoever to get their money up. Don't take your financial situation, lack of budgeting skills, and insistence of living beyond your means out on the business practice of exclusivity. It ain't nobody's problem but yours, and the world doesn't owe you any understanding or catering whatsoever. Welcome to life, where you usually don't get what you want just handed to you. If you can't afford to play, you don't play. Period. Insert your fucking tampon and get to the financial point where you can afford to play. Then this child claimed that I didn't make any sort of valid arguments and all I said was, no it's not. Really? You sure about that? Because I'm pretty damn sure I provided console sales figures in the very video you claimed to watch and left these stupid comments on, showing that exclusives can cause gaming platforms with inferior tech specs to outsell gaming platforms with superior tech specs, completely destroying the "it's about the hardware and features" argument you clowns like to throw around. And I sure as hell didn't go through and factually refute every single one of y'all's overused, tired arguments starting at the 21-minute and 23-second mark of the video on my channel that's on the screen right now. Nope, that never happened. It was all just a dream, a delusion. Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. Fucking imbecile. And then he tried to say that all I do is use ad hominem. Except that you tried to call me an AVGN ripoff. Isn't that an ad hominem attack, sir? Don't bother answering. It's a rhetorical question. Not only is it ad hominem, it's bad, nonsensical ad hominem. I've been on YouTube for nearly 8 years, and with all the videos I've made, not a single one of them can even be remotely compared to the type of videos that the angry video game nerd makes. Not a single one. And personally, I'm relieved about that because he's pretty much been complete shit for the last 5 years, maybe even longer. Like, for real, somebody explain to me how my style of video production even comes close to that of AVGN. That was one of the most random, scatterbrain attempts of an insult that I've ever seen. At least the constant accusations of being a Black Bond ripoff actually make some semblance of sense, but this right here was just completely out of left field. Now, as if I haven't completely Thanos these fools out of existence, allow me to strike the killing blow. Both fucking dumbass clowns claimed that I was on some fanboy shit, specifically Sony fanboy shit. I'm quite certain I've annihilated this idiotic notion before, but now I'm really about to put this bullshit to bed. The gameplay footage you've been seeing in this video was all recorded on my gaming PC. But this is far from the only video where I've done that. So what makes this such a big deal? Well, in this video, I've gone a step further. The game you've been seeing in this video, as of right now, is a PC exclusive. It's called Hellish Court, and despite its stupid name and its super early access state, the foundation is just so damn good that it has become the first and only early access game that I've purchased. I pirated it at first because I saw the IGN video about it where a sword fighting expert reacted to the gameplay, and I thought it looked like the spiritual successor to the PS1 classic Bushido blade that I've been waiting years for. However, I saw it was in early access on Steam, and I have a rule about not buying early access games. So again, I pirated it to try it out first. I was so impressed and enjoyed it so much that I ended up buying the game on Steam and have been following its development cycle ever since. And if the devs properly implement all the modes and features they've shown, this may very well end up being one of the most unique fighting games to come out in years. It currently has a very positive rating on Steam with 2,035 reviews. Yes, it is quite bare bones at the moment, but like I said, the content the devs have coming will make an already solid game exponentially more awesome. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, have a gander at this game. This game here is called Forced Combat, a Star Wars fighting game literally made by one guy. It's like Soul Calibur meets Mortal Kombat meets Eternal Champions. Now granted, this game is in an even rougher state than Hellish Court, as I've been having issues playing it with my DualShock 4 controller. I talked to the guy developing it, and he is aware that PlayStation controller users have been having problems. But he told me that he has only used Xbox controllers and doesn't own any PlayStation controllers to troubleshoot the issues with. I get that it's a one-man show, but that's a pretty big oversight that I hope he rectifies in future updates. Still though, it's in a very early alpha stage of development, and when I've been able to play it, the foundation here is really good. With more work, it could very well have the potential to be the best fan-made fighting game since Terrordrome. And speaking the fuck of which, Terrordrome, Rise of the Boogeymen. This game fucking rules. It's a fighting game with horror and slasher movie characters. Want to pit Michael Myers against Jason Voorhees? Do it up, bro. Pinhead from Hellraiser against the tall man from Phantasm? Right here, sucker. Ash from Evil Dead against Herbert West from Reanimator? Have at it, hoss. Yeah, this is one of the best fan-made games ever. I'm not too keen on the sequel though, because it's hard to go from iconic horror and slasher movie characters to generic folklore creatures. Aside from objectively having the best versions of multiplats most of the time, on top of having more exclusives than all the previous gen consoles combined, the PC has without question the best indie and freeware scenes in all of gaming. So don't sit there and try to say I'm some kind of Sony fanboy when I'm playing PC games that a lot of y'all PC gaming socialists probably don't even fucking know about. All of the games shown here in this video, they can only be played on the PC. And that's the way I want it to stay. Because that's the way I like it, because I fully support exclusivity, because I'm not an entitled, sloped-headed retard. I want all the platforms to have exclusives. I want Sony consoles to have their own exclusives. I want Nintendo consoles to have their own exclusives. I want Microsoft consoles to have their own exclusives. And yes, I want the PC to have its own exclusives. Because I want each individual platform to have its own unique gaming value and experience and its own market differentiation value. And I, being somebody who makes enough money to be able to pay my bills and have the means to fund my hobbies the way I want to, have absolutely no problem owning all the gaming platforms that I deem to have exclusive value. Y'all not being able or willing to do the same is not my problem, nor is it the problem of any corporate entity in gaming, whether it be developers, publishers, or platform creators. Nope, it's your problem, and your problem alone. And there you have it. A couple more PC gaming socialists have been made an example of and backhanded into the void of uselessness. You know, the first one did give me an idea. I was originally planning to do a massive video destroying these fools, but methinks I should invest in some better streaming equipment instead. Maybe, hopefully, you'll find out what I mean by that in the coming weeks. Until then, the Great Exposer has spoken.